Simon Perry to play on his last one.
which I think James he's made indication that because I think what they're hoping to do is play the role to hopefully take that away, and again maybe use that get another rock in behind that corner guard.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or you have to be able to play catch on the inside works too. Lots of outcomes. Seen a few of those.
One thing, Mark, I know the ice after playing a few games, ice is running really quick. It's running about 15.
All right. And then you get one anyway. A little too thick. Just get your one. You'll see more. You'll see more
Oh shit!
heavyweight dead nose hits on blank attempts than you will any other. Yeah. You'll never hit the heavyweight once.
Folks, it appears we had some technical issues. All appears to be good now, and here we are with Team Perry, Team Grattan, nearing the end of the first end. Team Grattan with the hammer. And Grattan line 3 with the hammer, 2 rocks to come. Perry's in a bit of a bind. It's a long double, but there is a corner guard he can roll behind. It's fairly flat and a long double at the same time, so I think the best option for Perry here is just to try to roll behind that corner guard. And 6 feet away, so nothing easy about it.
Yeah.
But it is an opportunity to get out of jail here. He's going to be in tough in his first end.
Giving up a 3 spot to a team like Grattan, I would say if you're going to give up a big end, do it in the first end. But you'll be in tough trying to climb your way back, playing such a high caliber team.
Well, the Grattan game this afternoon, he scored 4 in the first end, and Team French, I don't think they had 2 rocks to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, so
you're giving up a 3-point lead, albeit in the first end, but you're playing a top quality men's team, and it will be tough for Perry if they do give up 3 here to get back in this game.
Rock is away looking for that roll, and that was
but he makes the double.
I don't know, was that the call shot, Mark?
It may have been with that weight. It may have been.
I thought they were trying the cross house double, but I can't say I was for sure on the call.
Regardless, they made a double.
Yeah.
So it is only going to be a draw for 2.
True that.
For Team Grattan. And I was told many, many years ago, you want to win a lot of curling games, you've just got to make your free draws for 2 and your free hit for 2.
Yeah.
So I would think with the experience of this Grattan squad, that this should be pretty close. You just got to hit the paint. He would have thrown a draw in practice, so I would think it's similar, if not just a hair quicker. They only got one guy giving it a bit of a lick on the broom here, so it doesn't appear to be much of a panic about it.
Yeah, just a light dust here, Mark.
Looking as it comes over the hog line, it looks like it's going to be just okay. There's just a bit of a clean there, and I don't think there was any doubt about this when he let it go. He's into the 4-foot circle, and so Grattan has a draw weight and puts up 2 in the first end.
We'll put 2 on the board.
Grattan 2, Team Perry 0 after 1 end to play.
I expect we'll see a few more on the page. And yes, in fairness,
So we'll see now. I'd say you'll see. It'll be interesting to see now if Grattan decides to put it into the house and play that textbook score 2, now chase me, or if they're going to put right up the center guard and say, come on, let's play.
Well, this afternoon after he got up 4, he just threw it into the rings, top 4, which is what he just tapped there.
Okay.
And you would think Perry would throw a corner, but it depends where this first rock is. If this is only in 12 foot, Perry's definitely going to throw a corner. If it came into the top of the 1 foot, Perry might consider hitting it Because if he throws up a corner and Grattan throws a guard, at some point the scoring area for Team Perry is awfully small. Even if it's in top of the 4 foot, is a better spot than top one.
Yeah, and then even from
So yeah, the corner guard is called. Got to put a shout out to the sweepers as a front end guy. The boys pounded that rock pretty much the entire length and got it right where they wanted it. Good job to the sweepers.
play shots. As we stats people go, it's see if you can pad your stats a bit at the beginning of the game. Couple of early.
So nicely placed guard there. Probably about we'll call it a 1-2, not quite in the 2 zone. A little high, but it'll give him a lot of room to get around that one.
Absolutely. There's enough curl here. The high guards don't seem to be working as well as a little tighter. I think teams would prefer to have them in deep in the 2 zone or in the 3 zone. And for the viewers that aren't sure what those zone numbers are, when you're talking about guards in front of the rings, from the hog line to the top of the 12 are divided into 3 zones. The first third, which means from the hog line to the first third, would be 1. The middle third would be 2, and the third closest to the 12 foot would be zone 3. So, and a lot of teams, the sweepers and the people in the head refer to that, or where the rock is going to end up, or where they want it, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So people know exactly where it's going or where it needs to be placed.
So Mark, this rock is half shown. I'm a little bit surprised you're not playing a little bit of a board weight, hack weight type of hit to try and move that stone to the back of the house and still get the roll in behind that corner guard.
I like to come around the corner. If you're going to play, you got to play to win, and try to get around the corner. Then Grattan's got to make a decision. Does he chase it? Because if you're Peary now, you're trying to stretch the play across all 12 feet of the rings. So by coming around the corner, it tells Grattan, we're going to play out here. Are you going to come play with us, or are you going to try to steal and play to the middle? If they play to the middle, all it takes in is for one nice run back by Perry, and they could be on a couple behind corner guards. So the team's got to be really careful here. But this rock seems to be at least half open. They got about a guard by a foot, and I don't think they got quite as much curl as they anticipated. So this is a makeable shot here. Ideally, Grattan would like to roll behind that yellow center guard. Then Perry would probably have to play the run back.
Yeah, I would highly anticipate the run back to be coming if this shot is made.
We're in the thirds rocks here now.
So they got a sweep here now. They're off and on trying to keep that rock straight, and they got a little bit of a wreck off the top. So that's certainly to. I don't know if there was I think a foot got in the way there, Mark, did it?
Foot got in the way. I thought it might have went in, but they can't really do that because they're not sure, and it's not Team Perry's fault, so they'll stick it out in front of the rings.
Yeah.
I like to come around freeze here. You can't play the run back and roll, but then it's only going to be a short double.
I was wondering about the split off his own blue there, Mark. Try and tuck that blue a little closer to that corner and then get the roll on top.
My first instinct here was just the in-turn
Straight
freeze.
draw. Yeah.
Straight draw, in-turn freeze. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can get down on top of the yellow, that's a pretty thin double off the outside blue. And put a bit of pressure on what he's just playing the corner guard here, which is not a bad call either. Guard what you got in the 12 foot now. It's going to be pretty close to perfect. The thing here, you got to show a part of that rock on the outside, and Grattan can't go after it because he can only jam it on his own anyway. So as long as you cover the inside portion of that rock in the 12 foot, you're going to be okay.
Well, Grattan's consulting with his team. They are thinking about whether or not they place another guard up front because they got a nicely placed stone in the 4 foot, or if it's a peel of that guard that was just placed by Team Perry.
Well, by playing this shot, Grattan's telling me that I'm okay if you get 2. I'll get the hammer back, but I'm not going to let you jump it up and I'll have to make a big shot and have to stop a 3-hander. So if he plays the peel here, I believe it's just a straight peel.
Now
At some
he
point,
did.
Perry will put the guard back. At some point, Breton will come around on top of his own.
Yeah.
But not yet. Still only early in the end.
They're trying to make it curl, so that tells me that they were trying to get a little thick, hoping to get a guard out of it. So didn't quite get the roll they wanted.
That stops the freeze on the yellow, on that intern, because that's right in the draw path. So for the young junior players, it's only halfway through the end, and right now you got no intern draw to the pin because of a rock that rolled there. Now a lot of juniors don't realize that yet until they go to throw the draw and realize they can't get there in the intern because that rock's in the way. Now that's what that means. Unless somebody moves it out of the way, there's no intern draw to the top of the 4 foot. You can get to the pin on the intern, but you can't freeze on that yellow one. Or you might be able to throw a hit through that. It's a tight hole, but you're probably going to lose your shooter.
It's a pretty good shot.
Perry, that's not a bad shot. Perry opened it up, but now Groton is just going to hit the Perry stone and try to roll behind that corner.
And if he gets
You don't need to roll behind the corner completely. If he can go edge on the corner, it takes away the double yellow, and Team Perry can't hit either one and roll behind the corner.
just going to
If he can
say,
roll over just past that yellow one and go edge on edge with that blue guard, it would be ideal.
and I was going to say, Mark, if he gets a bit of a bigger roll and falls or goes completely under those stones, then you'll for sure see Perry play hit and roll.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's double guarded, so it's too late in the end to be playing the double peel. Not a bad shot.
Pretty nicely
Well,
played.
Perry can make the double, but his shooter will be exposed. And if he runs it across the face, his shooter will probably roll out. So he would probably try to play a nose here, nose hit.
And then the blank is in play then. Pay attention. He's got a couple of stones here too, Mark, that are definitely splittable. So if he makes a play on this one with a hit and stick and makes that double, he should be in the house, I think. We'll see. It's not a heavy blade takeout. Trying to make that curl.
I think you're going to jam it. I think you're going to see another hit and roll.
Yeah.
Well, if the game was tied, you might not see. You might see try to come on the yellow one and split them behind the two blues. But right now, Granton's up 2. So it's going to be hard for Perry to get the deuce if Granton keeps eliminating the blue stones.
Well, that stuff was unfortunate. One thing it did do for the Perry team is it increased the scoring area. So, we were touching top 4, and now we're full 8. So if it comes down to Perry having to make a draw, it's a little bit easier.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't think about that till it's too late, and they can't do anything about it, and they have no room for error.
So I think advantage Perry here now for sure if he can make this hit and roll.
Well, he can roll either way here now.
Yeah.
Ideally, rolling behind the blue is better because the blue guard is guarded by the yellow rock. So then you're looking at a double run back as opposed to a short single run back.
And I don't know if for some of the viewers and certainly the junior curlers, the importance of learning that directional sweeping. And the directional sweeping is really only effective if you got a lot of pressure on that broom. So it's all about your body position and getting that 45-degree angle and try and get those strokes, either to make that rock glide in the direction you're sweeping, or if you're going to against the curl, that's when you're trying to make it go straight. Sweeping's it's a whole new beast in the game now, Mark, from when we first started, buddy.
Huge, Andrew. But now, anyway, you got to have strength, and you got to be. All the top teams, the front ends are working out all the time. And some of the junior teams, some of the guys are still pretty light. They're still growing. Their bodies are still adapting. So they're not, getting the same kind of effect from the sweeping as you would watching some of the top Grand Slam finals,
Like-
who are just a complete beast on the broom.
Heavy top set, bull, manual maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right on the nose there. I think you talk about guys like Bull Manuel who can really affect the stone.
You know what's funny? When I was playing with Paula Harvey, this was before directional sweeping, I always had a hair broom. And we would be, I remember Paul would say, I can't understand what's going on with the ice tonight. There's times we're getting curled and there's times we're not. And all it was the hair broom. We didn't know it. Had we known.
Had you known.
Oh,
No, for sure.
oh, great shot
Hit
there.
roll by
So heavy that if you
Jimmy the Kid Grattan.
that
That's a nickname he got back in '97 Briar that he hates to this day, because now he's 51 or 52 years old, and he prefers James. But Jimmy the Kid is stuck, and he got that name because at 21 years old, he took his New Brunswick team right to the Briar semifinal, and was absolutely full value for their effort, as the whole team played great all week. And he's been a great player ever since. Had a number of years he played with Russ Howard of his own fame and fame from playing with Gouges when they won the gold in 2006. And Russ, in his own right, was a two-time world champion and two-time Briar champion, and won more money than you can count on the circuit.
should ever too. Yeah.
But
That's a good result. Yep, that's perfect.
James Grattan comes in with a ton of experience versus Team Peary, who are just starting to get their feet wet. And for them, winning the under national 18 championship last year was a big deal.
Yeah.
It tells you you're one of the best young junior teams in the country. This year, I think now they're stepping up, trying to get to the under 21 and take their chances there. The thing with juniors, most times, there's a big difference in an under 18 team and an under 21 team. For one, it's 3 years worth of just being more mature, 3 years of more coaching, 3 years of more playing and more experience. But young teams have won the under 21 before and will continue to do so. It just doesn't happen every year. But some under 18 teams are extremely strong, as is this team, Simon Perry. Nick Codner is an excellent shooter. Braden Snow, excellent shooter. Carter Holden at lead, excellent player. A couple of these guys used to skip their own junior teams a couple of years ago, and they decided to join forces. And what they've done is to create in the Newfoundland circles is to create. There are other top junior teams in Newfoundland, but this team is extremely strong. Their biggest competition would come from Team Tipple, who are another extremely strong junior team who puts an amazing amount of work in, as does Team Peary. And so I always used to like to think you're only as good as your competition. So if these two teams keep improving at the same level that they're both at, whoever goes to the under 21s, and I would think it's going to be one of these teams, it would have to be an upset if it was anybody else, would both be able to be quality representatives. Anyway, we'll see what happens here now. James has a free draw. Try to get around the yellow corner guard. It's called the corner guard only because it's in front of the rings, but it's awful tight. So you got to be careful. You got enough ice that it doesn't come into play, because you only got a barely chip it and you're going to knock it in. Line looks pretty good here at the hog line. We're almost to the hog line. Sweepers are working on it. It will finish here. They won't be buried. It's probably pretty much all open, but if you're in the hack, you do see that yellow guard up front. So it's in your line of vision. It shouldn't make a difference here. It should just be a straight peel or a blank end, but you never know. If you get a little tight, it may come into play. I don't think they can chip it and knock it in with takeout weight. I think it would go more sideways and downward. If you were playing at it with quiet weight, there's a chance you might be able to just split it on and roll too far. But I don't think that's the situation here. I think this is full weight takeout. Try to take the blank.
It's a lineup change on their team as well.
Not ideal there.
Looks like the line's a little tight here. They're sweeping hard. Gotta get by that yellow one. Okay. And he nutted it, and for a score of 1, no blank. Team Perry takes 1 in the second end. Score after 2, 2-1 Grattan, and Grattan will get the hammer back.
Yeah, neither team really wants to get into that. Like some of that's dictated a little bit too on ice conditions. If you have more swing, you can kind of get into those more precise draws or even tap shots. But when it's a little straighter like this and really fast, it gets so hard to be precise that you might as well try to simplify the game a bit to give yourself a better chance.
Yeah, as we say that.
I want to take a small 30 or 40-second break here, folks, and we'll be right back with our feature game tonight. Team Perry versus Team Grattan in the quarterfinals of the 2024 Rick Rowsell Classic.
Okay, we're back, folks, live. Team Grattan versus Team Perry. Nice force there by Team Grattan to hold Perry to 1. Now we'll see some play action, I do expect, with Team Perry trying to jostle now to try and manufacture a steal. So true, competition of young versus old. We used to call, the young curlers would call themselves, if they're playing a legend like James Grattan, we'd be calling ourselves the Legends Killers, trying to get out there. And it's a big deal when you're young like that and you're playing against someone who's so accomplished, and to see how you compete. And so it'll be interesting now to see how this goes as we get a little bit deeper into this game. So I think at this stage, it's a more than likely trying to get another center guard up there.
Especially if they made contact when they stick around the house before, pretty well.
So the call would have been a just over the hog line guard. I will say the ice is that quick. It's really tough to try and get that just over the line guard, because you can't realize how light you actually have to throw it, and just give it to your sweepers.
Even dead nose would be great, because it's not really a pocket.
So I expect us another wraparound here now by Team Grattan. The sweepers have backed away, indicating that this rock is likely a bit heavy. And it looks like it's pretty much frozen. So, interesting setup here now. I mean, if Team Perry chose to, they could, in fact, play a little bump on those two stones, move them to the back of the house, and maybe usable for later. But I think he's opted to go straight for a draw, a wrap around those two guards.
Curious to see if they do make it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. This one's curling more than the previous. I think it's pretty good. Evil's tapped.
So the boys are hard on the sweeping here.
Yeah, it is still interesting.
Trying to hold that rock. Once it starts catching that curl, I tell you, it's a real chore trying to keep that rock from over curling.
Tap your own top.
And we did get a little bit of a bounce off. So So Grattan doesn't want to have this end overly complicated. So he's probably likely going to keep that guard zone fairly clear when he gets an opportunity. And here we got a chance for him. He could potentially take all three of these rocks out. It'd have to be an up waiter, just off nose to the center line side, and you might get to see that double off the top. And then, well, the only thing you got to watch for is that back blue could run right into the yellows.
Have an overhead on the sheet, unfortunately.
Might clip that right yellow.
It might.
If you try it. I can't tell. It might be. Might not.
Yeah. Now, even if it does, I don't think that second yellow will go very far.
And we got an up weight hit coming.
Oh no. Yeah. It's just that the
Looks like the double is going to be made. And miss that back blue, which I don't think was a bad thing for Team Grattan, because I really do think that was lined up to come right into the house on top of those two yellows. So opportunity now for Team Perry, if they can wrap one around here now and get one right to the corner frozen on that yellow. You could be sitting there, even frozen. I think you could possibly be shot.
Probably get about half.
So the ice, unless this is a straighter side of the ice, not a lot of ice given there. So it could be kind of a board weightish, hack weight type of shot, maybe to move those yellows around. Or if it's draw weight, then it must be just a straight side on that particular sheet.
We haven't seen enough, at least so far this weekend, we haven't seen enough on any sheet.
So it looks like they've got it by the top.
You really do have to rock that weight.
And a nicely played stone. Very well. Great played shot there. So Grattan's not going to fool around here. He's going to kill a top. And then it's going to be a game of replace the guard, peel it off, replace the guard, peel it off, and hopefully they can continue that play down the line. And Perry's hoping with that nicely placed stone to take advantage here and hopefully get a steal.
So, not a bad.
No, you definitely got to try.
So again, high weight takeout. And kind of stuffed it in a way, actually. So I don't think that was the rock action that they wanted. So again, we'll see another guard placed. I'm pretty confident. Oh, he's coming in. Interesting call. So deferring to his teammates to see what their preference is.
We've seen some pretty good finish in this spot.
And I'm not sure what the final consensus was, whether or not they're going to cut right into the house or not. But we'll see very shortly. So I think my co-host had mentioned earlier about this young team getting their feet wet. I'd say their feet are more than wet at this point in that they have represented nationally at the U21s. I think they went up actually when we had the opportunity to send two teams. And last year they finished runner-up to Team Tipple, and Team Tipple made it to the U21 Nationals. And but they're gaining a lot of experience with every national spiel that they attend, and they've been traveling quite frequently as well, which seeing a lot of the teams that they would see at the U21s. So that certainly pays off to get a little bit of experience and familiarity with the teams that are out there in the competitive circuit. Typically, the teams that they would not see naturally would be the teams in Western Canada. In that, we're not traveling that far. We try and keep our travel to the East Coast. I know there is a spiel in Ontario. It's the Ottawa Valley Cash Spiel, which is a spiel a lot of the teams come from far and wide. And that's certainly a great competition put off there in Ottawa. So we got an interesting setup here now. I think Team Perry is sitting 1 for sure. I'm not sure about that blue at the 3 o'clock, whether or not that's out counting the yellow at the 4 o'clock position.
Until the ice goes flat, yeah. We're a little early for the ice to go flat.
So I'm thinking from Team Grattan here, they're going to want, you can't cover off 2 of those stones. So pretty key where this guard now is placed. Typically, you're going to show a piece of that higher stone and try and keep the back stone covered. And then let your opposition have a play it if they want to go for it. So I think most of that blue is fully exposed. So there is that opportunity here now with a bit of an up weight hit. So it looks like he's probably calling actually down weight. And it could be a kind of a hit and roll. We'll see what the outcome here is.
Again, it's a bit of a fresher path, I think. I don't think we've seen very many come down here.
So no, certainly a lot of weight thrown here. And great toss. Caught the outside stone. You got those stones spinning. And what are we left with but 1 lone yellow? So again, Team Perry is indicating for the hit and roll. So there's still an opportunity here despite losing those 2 stones. Potentially 2 of them shot stones, not real sure. But if he can make a good hit and roll here, placement to that guard out there is pretty key too with a 2 guard. He is thrown down the straight side. It might be difficult for Team Grattan to actually get enough curl to make a play if Perry makes the solid hit and roll here.
I like just playing top word.
So we are, I think we're down to the first of 2 for Team Perry. Not 100% on that. So you nice sweep there to carve it to stay straight, and then trying every inch they can to get curl. And I tell you, I can't get over how straight that side of the ice is. They weren't taking much. And again, you can see here, Grattan's only taken probably 4 to 6 inches of ice. He can peel this right out, and then that'll certainly give Team Perry here another opportunity. In fact, Simon has 1 stone remaining. Again, I'm not sure on that.
Line's going to get a little tighter, I think. Oh, you're going to get pretty good. If anything, it's got girls. Such a great shot. Gotta get full 8 foot.
Well, 2-1 game. Here we are in the 3rd end. Not too much happening here. 1 center line guard, 1 rock in the full 4 foot on the T line.
That's the side I would have thrown it.
I'm not sure if Grattan trying to roll to the wing or roll behind. I think if it was up to me, I'd like to roll to the edge of the 8 foot.
It's a lot more ice on it now.
Keep Perry away from the
This side,
middle.
I think should finish it. We've kind of seen a
I
little
was commenting how that it's extremely straight side over there, Mark. Like they're not taking much in the way of ice, and
they're just throwing control weight.
oh yeah, yeah.
And what I found a number of times I've done this broadcast this weekend, is once you get up past backline or hack weight, the rocks are going pretty straight.
Yeah.
It starts to get a little fuzzy. You get a lot.
But even here, they were throwing down, draw weight, and they were taking, I'm going to say, 18 inches max, and still trying. I see the sweep to keep it straight, and as soon as it gets by the top, they started hammering to try to make a curl, and they couldn't get much. I tell you. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if this is the side of house they tend to play for, but I tend to think that they're probably. As they move forward in this game, they're going to look for a piece of ice with a little bit more curl.
Well, sometimes one side of the sheet is different from the other side. Now this would need to hang on. If this rolls out, Grattan's coming around to the top of the 4 foot.
Oh, this is his final rock, yeah. So I think it's just going to be a throw through, yeah.
Happiness is.
Yeah.
So 1 end killed, and Grattan would retain hammer. in a 2-1 game with Hammer, that would, to me,
So
that's control.
we got on a free drop too here. I'm
So we're
sorry.
going to
And bit of a gift too, because now he's going to take his hammer into even ends.
in even ends. It's still 4 ends to go, but that experienced skips will start to look at this now in the 4th end. So with 5 ends to go, if the hammer alternates, Bratton is up 1 with 3 hammers to 2. So Team Perry is going to have to do something special here. They gotta change that narrative
Wait.
so they get control, or at least have the hammer in a
This is
1-point
little
game
wider
coming
than,
home.
Yeah, so
Could be being
likely to react.
So we'll see now what Team Perry has in the next couple ends.
Throwing another. Sweepers are probably going to want to keep their brooms down.
at least a heavy clean.
Just make sure, for one, that the ice can sort of get heavy clean. Second, just to make sure that
So I expect that we're going to see a bit of a similar end. I don't see Perry changing his strategy at all. He went for the 1 guard zone and the 3 guard zone, trying to get some separation, trying to get those rocks as close as he can to the center line.
Well,
Yeah, this
as good as Team Perry
should be sitting on the
are
field.
as under 18 national junior champions, you're dealing with a pretty experienced skip in James Bratton, and
Headed into the board.
he knows how to organize his ends. He knows if he gets a deuce
Got some rock
in
right
the
there.
4th end, he's up 3 with 4 ends to go, which means Team Perry with 4 ends and 2 hammers to 2 will have to outscore him by 4 points to win the game, which is a big hill to climb for anybody when you're playing another good team. Whether it's Team Perry or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Funny how that-
Playing any team where you have to outscore them by 4 points and only 4 hands, with potentially only 2 hammers available to you, is a
Right now we're 71.
is a big mountain to climb. Not that it can't be done, it's just that the odds are not in your favor. Bratton would know this and would understand what the odds are. Even if Bratton scores 1 in the 4th end and goes up only 3-1, Perry, in 4 ends left, still has to outscore him by 3 in 4 ends with only 2 hammers. Still a big mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Bratton understands this before this end even started. I don't know how forward-thinking the juniors are. I know they can play really well, and I know they're well coached by Glenn Goss. But
Who is celebrating his birthday too today? I don't know if you knew that.
Coach Goss had his birthday today, and I told him earlier that I ran the numbers this morning when I woke up, and he is old.
Question is he older than you?
Way older than me.
Happy birthday, Glenn.
That was Emily Neary, a.k.a. Pinto, a.k.a. Greta.
Greta.
But anyway, you know why I call her Greta?
Has it got something to do with any children's books?
No,
No,
she's
Do
a
tell.
big fan of the band Greta Van Fleet.
not familiar.
Oh, they sound like Led Zeppelin, but they're all 22 years old.
Deadly.
They're out of the States.
I might have to.
Really,
I might
really
have to
good
tune in. Yeah, that's
I'm
one thing.
I'm an old headbanger.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm into
100%.
into the rock. I like a lot of stuff now, but I mean,
Well, I suggest to you that there's I'm getting a little bit more into the country music, like country rock type stuff. And there's a band out there called Whiskey Myers.
okay.
They're awesome.
Well, you need
Awesome.
to listen to a band I like. I've come across recently that I've gotten right into. They've been around a few years, called Band of Heathens,
Band of Heathens.
out of the southern
Have
states.
not heard.
Oh,
So
they
what's
they remind me like of a blue rodeo mold,
okay?
like folk rock. They got like an electric guitar, they got an acoustic guitar, piano, keyboard guy, drummer. What is that vein of music? Blue rodeo style.
I think you're gonna have to text that one to me, Mark.
Band of Heathens.
Okay.
Another band in the same mold, a band called Wilco.
Woolco,
Wilco. Wilco.
where you used to get the best corn dogs ever.
Not Wilco. Wilco.
All right,
I
so
don't know why they call them corn dogs. It's a hot dog, folks. It's a hot dog.
I think it's the cornmeal
There's
coating
there's no corn in it. It's a hot dog.
on the outside, man. That's cornmeal,
Yeah.
and it's
That's
lovely.
That was a bit of a stretch, Andrew. Anyway, we got here now. We got Perry got something going.
Yes, I went down.
We got a miss out of Team Grattan, and Perry got 2 in the forward, top and back, behind that guard.
And again, no fooling
They were
around by
staggered
Grant.
guards, so Perry, Team Grattan had to go, dude. He had to get rid of the guards. Perry's going to put the guard back. If they keep putting a long guard back,
We got
unless Grattan makes a run back, he's going to end up having to draw the pin against 2.
Yeah.
James Grant.
So I would think Perry understands this.
And then
They've played enough now, and they're well coached.
she scores our own cheat. So
And if they can, but now the guard has to be good.
uh,
Okay, so they got a guard. You don't want it any tighter than halfway, zone 2,
Yeah.
and right
Anything-
on the center line.
Anything tighter, you're going to see a run
Anything
back.
tighter, it just increases the chance that when Grattan plays the run back, he might be able to. If you hit him right, you get all
Catch
of
one
them.
of them, yeah.
But the main one for Grattan to get rid of that's causing him problems is the one on the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah.
You get rid of that one, it opens up the whole 4-foot. The guard and the top one are the ones you want to get rid of. If you get rid of the back one, is a bonus.
And placement to this guard is, it's nice to have it anywhere handy to the center line, but I'm thinking that in any event, Grattan's going to be playing
I think this
that
could-
guard.
I think
But
this
he's
needs to be a hair deeper because it looks like Grattan is
coming around, eh?
playing the come around tap.
wow. I'm surprised by
I
this
thought
call,
there might
but
be a bit more room here on the out turn. But maybe it's that's a little straighter than this turn.
they're actually getting
But
some curl.
they're just playing back ring weight, try to move just to change the angles, keep the shooter in the 4-foot or 8-foot.
Yeah.
In which case, Perry would probably have to play a hit on it, or he might play the draw. All depends how much he wants to gamble without the hammer.
Now, just to let the viewers know too, that this side of the sheet, although it looks like it's the same shot, is actually the opposite side. If they were going to play the straight side, it would be on that what we're seeing right now. It'd be on the left side of the center line.
This rock looks pretty close.
Yeah, and there's a lot of curl on this side of the ice.
It looks like a good rock. Again, they were just playing like back ring weight, move it back.
just a hair wider than that.
Now,
No, I think there's an opportunity here now for Perry.
Perry can make a good shot and get rid of it, but this is a shot. These are the shots I always hate playing because you go after this shot to try to get underneath, and you don't want
yeah.
to jam it and
No,
make
sir.
it for the other guy.
No,
And it's so easy to do.
I don't know about you. I'm half thinking leaving that one there and come around on the opposite side,
That's
on
a
the
good
out turn
option.
side. Yeah,
I'm good with either shot to come around or to hit and roll under, but this rock is fraught with danger. You get so tight because you're so paranoid over doing that, you're wrecking the guard.
yeah,
And all of a sudden then, Grattan hits and rolls, he's line 3
absolutely.
with the hammer.
Yeah.
So, Perry can't
Oh, he's
afford to get-
motioning,
Perry
motioning
can't
at the
afford-
outside here.
Perry can't afford to give up 2. This looks like it's going to be pretty close, though.
Coming onto that guard and still trying to make a curl. Great sweep. And as you mentioned,
That's not a
touched
bad
it,
shot.
but
That's
no,
a good shot.
sitting there pretty good.
Now, the guy that threw that, Nick Codner, is an absolute excellent thrower of the curling stone. Very, completely fearless, makes an absolute ton of rocks for this Simon Perry squad.
He's pretty good at putting away golf clubs too.
Well,
He works at Bentley Haley in the summer, and
is he a good golfer?
I haven't seen him swing a club, but I know he keeps the shot pretty organized down there. And Simon, I think, works with him as well at the we call it the club bunker.
I think
And
they're all good young fellas.
absolutely,
And,
yeah.
they're all in high school or just a year out of high school.
Oh, I believe they're first year university.
First
Yeah,
year university.
Yeah.
So, all good young fellas, bright future ahead of them, not just in curling, but in life in general. And they all seem to have good heads on their shoulders. Always a bonus.
You get this close.
And Grattan here is playing down to these back ones.
with probably
He
a bit
wants
of
to
a
hit the one on the left first to push it back a hair and make it a bit more difficult for him to get. That is just a pistol shot.
shot. So again, that center guard is
Again,
left there.
The person that threw that, Joel Kratz, who I'm really big on. as one of the top young players in the country.
And not only a player, but a coach. I mentioned
Coaches
on
a good
a
junior team in Nova Scotia.
yeah,
He himself is a fabulous player.
yeah. I've seen Joel in action with his from a coaching perspective with his young team, young Atherton up in New Brunswick, and he informed me today that Team Atherton's on a bit of a roll. They're after winning five spiels this year.
Well,
So-
they're a good young team, and they got a great
Yeah.
coach. Now, for the viewers, myself personally, I would never call Joel Kratz. His nickname is a Kratzy, and that was put on him by Steve Sporty Bragg about 5 years ago, and it has stuck like honey to a bee.
And living in somewhat of a French Acadian area, if you could roll your R's on the Kratzy, it'd be marvelous.
Which Sporty Bragg could do. And here we have a miscue by Team Perry. And now the advantage is going to revert right back to Grattan. I think the shot here is to come around to the top of the 4 foot. Or you could play it on the left-hand side of the 4, but then you're going to give them a hit and roll.
So we see
I personally come around the guard and get around to the top of the 4, take away the double on the yellows, and you leave him a tap on his own or come around on the outturn. But you're probably still going to be looking at a crack at 2.
So, Mark, when you play defensive and offensive play, like this whole end, Grattan was kind of playing mostly defensive because he was vulnerable with those stones in the back of the house. But right now, he's pure offense here now.
I don't think he was playing especially defensive. He peeled the double guard. But then the very next rock, he played just to
Softer,
step back
yeah.
and keep the shooter on the edge of the 4 foot.
Yeah.
And that took the play away slightly from the middle until he got a better opportunity. Now, with this opportunity now, where Team Perry hit and roll off the back one, albeit only a small miss,
Oh, yeah.
but it could have consequential outcome, because if they make this come around now, this is going to be pretty close to being a beauty. You got to curl a bit at the end here to take away the double on the yellows. But that's a very
That
good
is a
rock.
stellar shot. So you can see now that you don't have to miss very much. Like,
No.
you don't have to have a big miss in order for a team
Well-
to take advantage. And case in point here, it was a pretty well played stone by Perry. Rock too deep. And then all of a sudden you see Grattan pounce on an opportunity.
The only thing with that yellow rock that Kratzy threw, that was over an extra 3 or 4 inches. This rock that Perry is playing wouldn't be available. He's playing the tap back to blue on into the 1 foot.
Yeah.
Now, even if you make it, your shooter is probably going to roll an inch or 2 outward. So Grattan would still be able to play that run through double and kill everything. The yellow at the back is probably not going very far. He could kill a couple more blue at the back, and he potentially could end up lying 2 or 3.
And his yellow
But he
there,
pan out, he could at least lie 2.
his yellow there that's touching the center line is almost fully exposed as well. So he's got an opportunity to play on his own yellow too if he
He
needs
do
to.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's a little scary. You only got 2
Now again, Perry needs to make this to get this in. If this is not shot rock, Grattan's going to play. I think an outturn come around his own just to bite the 12 foot, and depending how the blues are staggered. So even if he doesn't tap this far enough, you got to keep the angle on it so it's there again. Force Grattan to guard it, and then Perry can get around on the outturn to try to get out of the end. This
Stone
line
looks
looks
to
pretty
be
close.
yeah. I
If
don't
they
know.
can hold it,
Does it have enough weight, Mark?
you got to hold it.
Oh, what a beauty!
Beauty.
Yeah.
Now it's available because it never went deep enough. That's available on the outturn yellow on the blue tap.
Yes. Yeah. Now he still has that. I think that blue is totally exposed, but it is. You got to skinny that guard.
And the thing about it, I think he's only going to play like back 8 foot weight. He needs to hit 3/4 of this. So when he hits the blue and flips back into the 1 foot, the blue goes out to the 8 foot. If the shooter he hits flips back into the 8 foot, it makes that raise in that blue one that much tougher. And I don't think his shooter's not going to roll far. He only got back 8-foot weight. If he hits 3/4, he's only going to roll a couple of inches. So it's going to act as a guard, and the angle probably won't be right to make any kind of triple. So Grattan would still have available a deuce opportunity.
Do we see Grattan? Do we see Grattan simply draw on here? Draw on here. You know, I know he's got a bit of an opportunity, but if he draws in here and he takes his one, he's still up 2 and even ends,
Well,
and
if
he's
he goes up
forcing.
two- If he goes up 2, we got to be outscored by 3.
Ex-
4 ends.
absolutely, yeah.
If he ends up with a deuce here, Team Perry has to outscore him by 3 points, 4 points with 3 ends to go, 4 ends to go.
Yeah, so-
That's a big hill to climb.
And I'm pretty sure the ice being called here, it's going to be promoting that Yellowstone.
I don't know if Team Perry yet are really into the scoreboard management thing. I'm sure our coach tells them sometime late in the game, look at the score. But you got to look at it, what the odds are. You know, at the start of every end, teams get together to discuss what they just did, what they need to do, and the end coming up. And you know, you decide, well, we need the blank, we need to get 2. And that's usually because when you look at the scoreboard, what do you need to do to win the game? It doesn't matter if you win by 1 and the last rack or win by 10. What do you need to do to win that game at hand now?
Yeah.
Everything else pales in comparison.
So we're trying to
This
get this.
angle looks really good. Now
Rock
I need
to
to
curl.
curve it. Just enough.
That's an interesting setup here now.
I think he wanted to hit a little more.
I
of that.
believe so.
And that was more weight than I thought he was going to throw.
That's a sneaky way.
So
Perry
Case,
can get down. Now,
yeah. So as
Perry
mentioned,
freezes the back one here. What you're going to see, if he gets right down on top of it,
Now, for me here,
because if he's only in the 1 foot,
that becomes a very hard rock to stack.
Grant can just pick it through the hole.
It's
Yeah.
a great call.
so
If he
just
freezes the back one, Grattan will be coming off that blue one in the 8 foot, and it'll be for the freeze.
and just note the ice being taken here, Mark. This is definitely the straights, like it's straight at both ends of the ice.
Well, again, this you can play back line wager as long as you're in front of that yellow one. It doesn't matter if you're just jiggling a bit.
Yeah.
But the rocks are close enough. It'll be a fairly flat double if you're right on top of the yellow one. But the rocks are only 3 feet apart, so it's still available.
Yeah.
That double is- and the one you hit, if Perry is frozen, it's going to go sideways.
And this shot is critical because a shot made here will certainly get Team Perry out of the end. A shot missed will give him an opportunity at another 3 on the board.
I think you got to force Grattan to make the double. If he's just in the 8 foot and he can just pick it, it's an easier play. The line looks pretty good here. It's got a curl.
And it's not
Starting to work itself over here now.
They don't want to bounce.
it's
That's a nice shot.
oh, you're gonna think about
Now,
Now.
I think that
He
I think
can.
he can nose it
Yeah.
too. I think if it was over another 6 inches froze right on it, he's coming off the outside blue one. I think now he's going to nose it. Nose it, take 2.
where you can hit it and where you cannot.
I think he ever moved out of the way so he can actually see.
I know.
It's good.
I know.
But I think,
He
from
is-
what I remember, I think if he can nose it, he can squeeze that one out.
He is talking about putting that blue onto the yellow there at 1 o'clock. But
Couple of seconds ago.
yeah, I kind of like what Joel's saying there. Just you don't need to come at it with a gusto. I mean, you just gotta move it. I think he really wants to make this 3 though.
Yeah, for sure.
So the one camera angle, I don't know if Trevor Bartlett is watching or not, but this is where I'd love to have the overhead because we can't really see what's going on there. It's on my wish list. I don't know if I'll get it for Christmas or not.
Trevor even have it. Is it technically possible? I thought we don't have.
Well, no, we have cameras. We just got to get them installed.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, we should do that.
yeah. I keep asking, and one of these days I'll get my Christmas wish. So I think, but what they're looking at here is promote the blue onto the yellow, and then onto the blue. Action. There could be a potential score 3 here, Mark.
It could be.
Yeah.
Even on the straight side.
It forces the yellow onto the blue, onto the yellow, onto the blue.
It's pretty flat.
Yeah.
So you got to hit 3/4 is more than a fat half. It's at least 2/3, if not greater. And you need full peel weight here. So I would expect to see a high haired one. It should run fairly straight with that kind of weight. Even if it hits the fin, he comes into the back of the yellow, and that comes off the back blue upward, and might still squirt the top blue when the shot rock.
And we talk about risk and reward too. Like I see here, I mean, he's got no fear in his shot because he could draw down, got his backing, draw and take his one.
The seal of one, which is tied, he's still got the hammer, which is control of the game.
So trying to keep this rock straight. They'd like the line.
I thought they were coming off the outside one.
They're better than edge on.
And there you go, folks.
There you go.
I think it's a score 3. No,
Great
score
shot for
2.
two.
Score 2, yeah.
That's what he was playing on the line.
But if he played that a little bit firmer, he could have had his 3. Yeah.
Good shot. Great shot by James Jimmy the Kid Grattan for 2. Is that the 3rd or 4th end?
We are moving into the 4th end. That was
3rd end. So
yeah.
up 4-1.
Yeah, let's update our score.
And now they would have complete control of this game. Team Perry got the hammer back, but they're really going to have to push the envelope here. 8-end game tends to be a rush to the finish. And the way, when we played on tour years ago, and, you're playing all these top teams in the country all the time, and you learn from that. And an 8-end game, when games went from 10 to 8, for the top teams, it became a race to the finish. Every end was, I'm going to try to score as many as possible. If I get caught giving up 3, well, I'll get 3 back next time.
Yeah.
10-end game is only 2 ends more, but it was the beginning and middle and end.
Yeah.
It was more strategic in terms of scoreboard management. So I'm of the train of thought that I'm just going to score more in 8 ends than you are.
Well, I tell you.
That's how we always played, and you would know from playing us a number of times over the years that we were one of the more aggressive teams in the club.
Bob and weave. Always bobbing and weaving.
And we always pushed the envelope, and lots of times we got caught, and lots of times we never. And even if we did, we never quit.
And, I think certainly when I played with Paul Harvey, we had much of the same philosophy. We liked a lot of rocks in play. We'd like to, more of a draw game than a hit game. And it was all about setting stuff up for angles. Yeah. And we always, whenever we played, we always had, it was good games, very entertaining. Yeah.
I was always pretty fortunate in Maine's End and senior play. I always was fortunate to always have 3 quality players.
That's an unfortunate error there.
Big miscue there by Team Perry.
Do not want to be hogging rocks at this stage of the game.
Not in the 4th end. Got to get it over. That's a big advantage to Team Grattan.
So we always, there's always been that debate of, the meaning of lead rocks. Well, I can tell you, you have a good lead, that totally sets the tone for the start of every end. It dictates whether or not you're going to start off with playing offense or defense.
Well, this afternoon I did the broadcast with Emily Mary, and 2 years ago she was playing lead for the team I was coaching, Mackenzie Mitchell, and in the span of a month they placed 4th at the U Sport, which is the National Universities Championship, and lost the Under-21 National Final. And Emily, I don't know if she was out-curled in any game in the 2 nationals.
Wicked, right?
One of the reasons Team Mitchell did as well as they did. Now, Team Mitchell were all excellent players.
Yeah.
But if you ask Mackenzie to skip, because what was one of the main reasons? Emily played so well. When Mackenzie Mitchell had the hammer, they were all out on the attack.
Yeah.
And they could always put points on the board.
Yeah.
So if you're putting points on the board, and then your lead, when you don't have the hammer, your lead is outplaying the lead. When you don't have the hammer, then the other team, even when they got the hammer, are playing defense because they're always in trouble.
Yeah.
So they don't have an opportunity to put points on the board when they have the hammer.
Always forcing to play. Yeah.
All of the top teams have all-star leads and seconds.
And what's ironic or interesting, we'll say, is a lot of, like you see skips that if they don't want to skip anymore, you'd think to be playing mate somewhere. lots of times the skips will move to the lead position because they got the draw weight down.
Well, no, not trying to disparage E.J. Herndon or Brendan Boxer and Goose's team at the second stone, but when Brad had Gallant and Walker for the 8, 9, 10 years, whatever they played together, once Gallant and Walker really tuned in together on that team dynamic, that's when Guju,
Excel.
game in and game out, nobody in the world wanted to play him.
No.
They were that good. I would put my money on them every game. The 2 years they had EJ, they won 2 bars. EJ played good, and great sweeper. But I just never thought it was the same team dynamic.
Yeah.
And I can't
Say-
really comment on
we'll-
Boxer. He's only been here a month or so.
We'll say the same team mojo. We'll say, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's just they had played together so long, and the first couple of years you had Brad had Gallant and Walker, and no disrespect to Brad and Mark, how good they played. But it all started when Brad would have to hammer, and they're putting points on the board. It all started with Walker and Gallant. And once they got that team dynamic between them figured out, and Brad got them figured out and how they released all this, they were unstoppable.
And you
That's why they
couldn't.
won all them bars in a row.
You really couldn't put 2 better sweepers together either.
Oh.
You know?
I'd put my money on them every time.
Yeah.
But you just saw there's too much. You go back at YouTube and look at all these shots they made, and they knew when Brad or Mark would let it go, where it was going to go. They knew where they could put it right away within a couple of feet up the least. And if you're a skip and you got a front end that can do that, well, you're going to make a lot of rush.
Absolutely.
Especially when you got the skill level of Guju and Nichols.
And Brad is that accurate with calling line that he could literally get those fellas to stare the rock.
And that's not trying to disparage E.J. Herndon. And, he's an excellent player, Grand Slam level. He's got 3 briars under his belt, 2 with Guju, one with Jacobs, and a good guy all around. But I don't think he ever got the gel with him and Walker as Gallant and Walker.
Right.
But again, Gallant and Walker were together 8 or 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So there's a learning curve to do this sort of stuff. And I don't have a comment on Boxer yet because he's only been there a month.
Yeah.
So that might work out fine. It might be a one-year thing. Who knows?
Now the one thing I will comment on, which I observed during the Grand Slam, was the sweeping difference. And I'd watch Walker sweep, and he'd be sweeping. He'd get 2 brushes into every one of Botcher's 1 brush, and so that takes time. It takes to get conditioned. And we face it, Botcher hasn't been a sweeper for a lot of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, he's just got to get there from a conditioning point of view.
Now, a pro side misser, Perry was trying to come around the corner guard, chip the corner guard, and roll to give himself staggered guards behind his rock in the 4-foot. So if you're not going to get around the corner, because it's going to take Grattan at least 2 rocks to get access
Yeah.
to the shot rock.
Right now across the board.
We're going to try to get, sorry folks for the little going off tangent there, but just had a little talk. And we're going to get back to the game here now, Andrew and I, and see what happens. But as you can tell, it doesn't take us long to go off track here.
Squirrel?
Well, it is what it is. You got to have a bit of fun with broadcasting and keep the viewers into the game.
And we got to keep ourselves entertained too,
Well,
Mark.
that too. I don't think anybody's going to say, well, they were boring.
So we got a clean house now. That was a great shot by Grattan to,
I think the greatest compliment that we can get, Andrew, is that you remind us of Statler and Waldorf. Bring on the Muppet Show, baby.
if only we were that witty with the
If
one-liners.
only we were that witty, absolutely.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. We got the look.
Anyway.
We don't have the wit.
Well, they were both. One guy was great, one guy was balls, and we definitely got the look.
We got the look.
We got the look.
Yeah.
Anyway, Perry here drawing around the corner guard now. Grattan double peel the front. And so Perry trying to get around the corner guard. He really needs a deuce to get back into this game. Looks like they're going to get by the guard here. It seems like they got loads of room here now. It looks pretty close,
Yeah.
but they got to get buried so there's no double
I
opportunity.
got to get that rock deep.
Yeah, it's going to take it. You need to take it deep here, so the double is pretty thin. And one time I came across a phrase from a man called Sam Richardson, who had won 4 consecutive Briars, or 4 Briars with Ernie Richardson. It was his brother or his cousin or whatever. And Sam said when he came around the corner guard, he said, "Finger deep, boys. Make room for loads more." I said, it sounded like pretty good advice to me if I had to hammer.
We're going to stack 6 more behind that one.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, but that's the way this end is shaping up. There's only the one corner guard. It's too late for Grattan to peel it because Perry is already lying 2, so he's going to be playing in the rings.
Perry's set up pretty good here now. I mean, if Grattan can make the perfect hit and roll,
Well, Grattan's
Gotta
trying to
take
get a
that.
hit and roll
Yeah.
to part of the 8-foot. He's got a bit of a roll here. How far is it going to be?
that's pretty
It
nice.
looks like it's going to be pretty nice.
I do think that rock is, well, it's fully exposed.
It might be pretty exposed.
Yeah. Now,
Well, it's
Perry,
still plenty jammable, but Perry, if he can actually just throw like back line weight, you don't have to move it out. You just got to get it by the blue one to get underneath that blue guard.
now I see 2 options here, Mark. You could play like a hackish, try and get a big roll over towards that other yellow and keep your rocks separated.
I think if they got last rock, I like trying to get the second rock behind that corner guard.
Indeed. That would be
Because
ideal.
what you're doing then is you're bringing 3 into play. If you chip the yellow across the top of the blue and roll across,
Yeah, you could. Although Sarah's
Grattan's going to hit the open one, roll back for shot, and
Then you're
exchange shots. You're only going to get 2.
Yeah.
Perry wants to have any chance at 3,
you could play the
hit and roll in behind the guard. You might still get your 2 anyway, but you're going to bring 3 into play. So it's all about opportunities. This is going to be pretty close.
Oh, this is a real nice play.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Oh, what a beauty.
That's a beauty.
We'll give that a 4 out of 4. Definitely
Beauty.
4 out of 4.
Again, I alluded to it a couple of
yeah, for sure. You can
last and before. The shooter of that rock was Nick Codner, and that's what I call Nick doing Nick things. He's a quality thrower, buddy.
Yeah.
Young guy, funny as hell, and absolutely fearless. Now, sometimes when you're young, that fearlessness can get you in trouble.
Well,
That you can't get out
yeah,
of.
you'll take gambles that
at the
maybe
same
shouldn't
time-
be taken, but
At the same time, it can get you a lot of places that you need to be. So he's a big strength on this team. As good as their front end is, and as good as Simon Perry is throwing that last brick, Nick is an integral part of the strength of this Simon Perry.
those
course.
rock is James, is he playing a just a pick takeout here, or is he actually going
I
after
think
the
you can see
double?
a part of it, so he's probably trying to hit and roll into the open.
Keep that 3 out of play.
Yeah, trying to take the 3 out of play.
Yeah, like I said, it is quite popular.
You got to get by the guard. Oh, I think he's by. They're by.
It is very tricky.
Oh, that
Ups on
was
the
a
double.
great attempt
But
at
again-
making the double. Yeah.
He could probably see more of that, Andrew, than we thought. If he came that close to that double.
Now Simon is indicating a roll. I'm worried about the jam going that way. Yeah. Okay. He's thinking about going back to the
If
same
I'm
spot. Yeah.
Perry, I would play roll behind the corner all day.
Yeah.
If you roll right behind that guard that he can't see it and he can't throw and he got a hit weight at it, he got to make a partial freeze on the back one to stop a 3-ender.
Yeah.
Because if you try to freeze the top one, you got to be his line and weight to make an absolute pistol of a corner freeze. This is one of the hardest shots in curling because you're dealing with line and weight, and both have to be absolutely perfect.
I think what's
If, you get
probably
if Perry makes his roll behind his corner, the freeze on the back one just requires line because the freeze doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you're edge on edge and you're a foot or 2 in front of the back one, it effectively takes the back blue out of play.
Yeah. Now, what might have been in Simon's mind was the fact that Grattan had just missed that, and it was a tough double. Just missed it.
I
So I don't
think
know
it-
that he necessarily
this
want to
might
leave
not
it again.
be- okay.
Yeah.
I think if you're Grattan here, being up 3,
You hit the open one. You might take a run at the double.
Well, I think if you just hit the open one, unless you're going to roll perfectly, it's going to be a straight hit. I got no problem taking a run at the
Take a
double.
run at it.
It's about 3/4 on the high side, maybe a hair less. And if it stays out, you can always slash it across the top of the back blue one anyway. But I'd play it on the inside and low side of the back one. 3/4 on the high side. Now, the thing about it, I would throw.
Just need to make good weight.
Jimmy the Kid Grattan is not known as a big weight player.
No.
Okay, he's really good at soft weight, great draw weight. So I'd say you're going to see at least a 9 here. He might squeeze an 8.5, but it's going to be at least a 9-second hit.
I think it is basically perfect.
I don't think he's going to throw more than that because I don't know
Look at where the center
what
line
the
is.
accuracy would look like.
Actually hair overburied on the side.
Try to get a split on that now.
It shouldn't matter with Aaron being tied. It should be-
Looks like it's going to be a bit thin to me. He might even flash it.
Oh, I don't know. It's he's giving up a deuce here.
Well, that was a full peel. That was 7.75.
That was a 7-second hit.
Okay, that's full weight peel.
Yeah, that is. That's a
But again, I hard to tell
That's
from
an
our
up-weight
vantage point
throw.
if he flared it just a hair. The thing about, folks, with that weight, if you flare it and release a hair,
So that's a.
it doesn't get a chance because it's rocks traveling so fast, it doesn't get time to come back and compensate that if you flare it out even a fraction. So it was very unforgiving. With the peel weight, sometimes people are you're better off taking a hair less ice and hope the sweepers can hold it. But anyway, he got one out. It's going to be a straight draw, pretty well half rock in the paint for a deuce in the fourth end to make this a 1-point game again. So it's a big deuce opportunity for Perry. And as we alluded earlier, you want to win games, you got to make your free points, and this is pretty much a free draw. No guards in play to worry about. Drawings in the middle of the rings, and you just got to get a half rock into the 12-foot. So, and this is the case where I would tell my sweepers, I'm just going to lay it out there, try not to screw it up.
Boys, take it. Take me home.
And these guys are good sweepers. They knew when he let it, as soon as he let it go, they weren't working it. They just dusted a bit, gave it a couple of licks, and he's on the 1 foot. So we have a 4-3 game after 4 ends. Grattan 4, Perry 3. Grattan will retain the hammer going into 5.
We're going to take a quick 60-second break,
Quick station break.
and we'll go to our advertisements. Support our corporate funders. Back momentarily.
So we'll see what they can do with Hammer Down.
Welcome back, folks, to the Remax Center for this men's qualifier with Team Grattan versus Team Perry. I believe we might have a score update. Do we? Which I have not done.
Which we will do promptly. Here we got 2 in the 4th.
Right.
Yep. And change the end.
Excellent. And we got a game, folks. So 4-3 Grattan. It's shaping up to be an interesting one. Loving seeing this young Perry team bringing it to the vet. I'm sure it's going to be a thriller right to the end.
We got some rocks in play here now, early in the end here. Again, Perry's got to be careful. He got himself back into this game, so he got to play smart. And he'd be if I was him, I'd be happy with a force on here, and see what happens. If you can steal one, great, but you don't want to push the envelope so far that you bring a deuce into play. You bring a deuce into play in the 6th. Now he's down 3 again with only 2 ends to go. The odds of being successful in that game is going to be probably no more than 15 or 20%, based on historical averages. But that's what it would be.
So definitely going to trend continues. So we got
So Grattan's going to go peel here. He knows he got the hammer. He doesn't want to deal with any of these guards, especially with 4 rocks in what would be considered the control zone. Control zone would be T-line from the edge of the 4-foot out to about 1.5 or 2 feet in front of the rings. Whoever controls that zone usually ends up scoring. So right now, there's 4 rocks there. And we'll see how it goes.
Yep, for sure. So we got sort of a clinical game going here so far.
So it's still a nice setup here, Mark. Even when these, peel at some point, that bluestone is nice. I think is probably. Do you think it's shot? What are you picking? Blue over yellow?
I don't. It's early enough in. I don't think it makes any difference right now.
Come on, Mark, entertain me.
Okay, I think it's. Let me take a peek. Probably blue.
Fair enough. So we're going to see the guards continuously placed back, and depending again, the placement of the guard of whether or not you can play a soft come around.
Well, that's why Perry's playing the guards at the center line, because the only way to get rid of it is pick it out. They can't play blue on the yellow, because you're only going to put the blue on the pin onto the yellow rock at the back of the pin. So right now the angles on those rocks in the house favor Team Perry. But again, there's a lot of shots left in this game, and I don't expect those rocks to be in the same position 4 or 5 rocks from now.
Kind of get their career even to the next level. Both of them are shaping up, Scott.
pretty decent threes.
Yeah, another nice one. It's been some nice shots. Been a few misses along the way.
So is he playing the direct run back here now? Looks like it.
Well, at some point, once you get an opportunity where the rock is a bit closer, you got to take your crack at it. If they're out halfway, well, you might just peel it.
So direct nose on nose to yellow.
Looks like it's just a straight peel.
Yeah.
Preferably if you can't get
You're not going to see Kratzy miss many of them. He can throw it hard and he can throw it straight. Like I said, you've already heard me allude to how good I think he is, and he's just a top flight player.
Try and roll the R's.
Pretty much.
Grazie.
Yeah, I can't roll it like that. If I roll it like that, I'm going to fall off the chair.
I'm looking forward to the next time I visit New Brunswick and I'm walking down the road and someone yells out, "Hey, grazie."
Oh,
That would bring a smile to my face.
I wouldn't be able to stop laughing. Well, as far as I know, we were the only people down here that called him Kratzy. But now, every time we went away and would see him, we call him Kratzy. So now people on the mainland call him Kratzy.
Yeah. That's how you make it stick.
That's how you make it stick. And at first, I don't know if he liked it or not. It doesn't matter now because that's what he's been called.
He's going to have to learn to live with it, isn't he?
You got to learn to live with it.
You get real lucky, you go yellow, yellow, blue, yellow.
So just, I don't know if there is any Grattan fans out there watching, but boys had a bit of a time last night. They went down to the famous George Street.
When
And
you said the boys, you're talking about Team Grattan here.
Team Grattan, yeah. And they went down. I understand that 2 on the team had never been screeched in. So they were on a quest last night to get 2 of the boys, get a little bit of screech in their bellies, and probably flirting with a codfish. So I don't know if they were successful with the flirting part, but I do know they got some screech in their belly.
Sounds like a bit of an adventure.
Yeah. Now, they were still competitive. They weren't out late, but, they went down and enjoyed some of the scenes and some of the entertainment down on George Street. It was a beautiful night here last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the men's tour 5 under 1, we've got Brad.
So I would like to take a quick shout out to our sponsors. I know I put the ads up there while we went on our quick 1-minute break. But a big shout out to Bel Air Direct. They've been our key sponsor, our prime sponsor for the last 4 years, and we greatly appreciate the support they've given to this particular spiel and curling in general in the province, as well to Anna Patton and her crew at Browning Harvey, also known as more popularly as Pepsi, and of course. Our late Rick Rowsell, his sister Marlene, and her husband, who run the Gander Bread Box out in Gander. And I got to say, I drop in there every time I make my way across the province. That's my spot for a coffee and a sandwich, and usually they got some soup on. And I got to say, I really like the food that they got at their establishment. It's lovely. If you haven't been, I encourage you to take it in.
And you now got a second one in the house. You put a quarter guard on the one that just rolled in.
Well, back to the game here, folks. Perry put the guard out there, but Grattan is electing now to play in. If he can get around that guard and there's enough room that he can push that blue rock a couple of feet and roll right on top of his yellow, Perry's going to be hard pressed to stop a deuce. And a deuce here would put Grattan back up 3 with 2 innings to go.
So this is a precision shot.
It's a precision shot, and you don't want to roll too far. If he pushes the blue but rolls over on the opposite side of his
You're setting up a
yellow,
pocket.
sets a pocket.
Yeah.
Simon Perry can come down and get into and force him to 1 or potentially steal. But if he can push this out, and there's enough curl here, as long as, you just need like back 8-foot weight.
I think you're always playing this.
So we got a heavy sweep here, Mark.
It's a big sweep. I don't know if he's got the weight.
It looks to
They're
me like
pushing hard.
it's...
The weight might be okay, but they got to get it right in there. He might be short.
Wow.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, that's the boys gave it their all, but they never got that rock to where they wanted it. I'm wondering if Perry just capped us off another guard. They got one already out there.
well, the easiest shot for the best result is just a straight guard on that line.
Now, what's scary about this particular situation is that he's still got a couple of ways maybe to attack this, but 3 Yellowstones around 1 blue.
But the angles of the Yellowstones don't favor. They favor Team Perry, because if they guard this, Grattan can't raise the blue because they go yellow, and if anything, if the yellow in front of the blue hits the blue, it only goes on the back one. So you can't run it on that intern side because you could end up leaving blue line 2.
Yeah. Now, this card placement is
card
key.
here,
Yeah.
I don't know if that draw is there to score on the outturn.
And if anything, what they're leaving Grattan is running a blue stone. You're running an opposition stone in. So whether or not they peel it away and say, can you neatly place it again?
If there's a guard there, I think the only option is going to be for Grattan to run the blue rock back. Now, you can't hurt your. I don't think if you run it back because of the angle you're hitting it into. I don't think you can give up more than one. Anyway,
For 30 seconds or so.
but I don't think there's going to be an option for him on the intern to hit that blue rock that's in the 8 foot to get rid of the rock that's shot. Because the angles don't work for him.
And depth of this guard
Now,
is
the
not.
longer this guard is, the better it is
Yeah.
for Perry because it's going to make it harder to run it back. That's a really good shot.
And they could drop this right over the hog line mark. I don't think there's enough curl really to do much with it.
I think you're going to see the run back on that guard.
I think it's thrown by now.
Or you could see the run back on the one.
You
that's
could try.
closer.
Hey, how many stones left for Grattan now?
I think
see,
this is the last rock. here
This is
now.
last rock. Okay.
I don't think that the one in the rings you can't hit. You got to hit one of the guards, straight back or the one on the right. I think in terms of the easier line call is the longer guard, even though it's 3 or 4 feet out front of that, the second guard.
And what,
Because all you got to do is nose it
what's
or
interesting
close
too?
to nose, and you got a shot at getting that shot rock out.
Interestingly, in this end, like it's pretty critical for Grattan to score, even as one, because if he allows a steal, we got a tie game going into the 7th.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Again, if
I never questioned it. He didn't know. But I was just wanted to point it out to you, Mark.
I know. If Perry seals winner, Grattan will try to blank 7. He's going to want the hammer coming home. If Grattan scores here, and I think if you hit the blue one at all, you're going to end up scoring at least 2.
So this is a long run
So
back.
you're going to be tied or up 3.
So if he makes the shot, I think the best he does is score a deuce.
I don't think, when we're playing full time, I don't think 3 is on. You have to hit it so perfect.
Oh yeah.
It's possible probably to get 3, but I think if you make any contact with that blue rock, you're looking at a deuce. In all likelihood.
Straight side, but like back here.
This is a big play here.
Probably get a chance.
To his advantage is knowing that this is a straight.
Never missed that by
Oh,
much.
boy, no.
From that distance,
Yeah.
you're talking a quarter inch, maybe.
Yeah, and the advantage on that particular shot was such a straight piece of ice.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
sweepers really had the ability to impact that. But both were off and on. It was definitely close and didn't miss by much, like you said.
That's a big steal. We have a tie game here after 6, Perry and Grattan. Now there's a tie game with the steal in the
If you're gonna do this, yeah.
6th end. That deuce in the last end looks awful large.
Oh, big time, big time.
So again, they were down 4-1. Now we're tied after 6, and now the game can go either way.
Line's great. It's gonna be hard.
Here we are, folks. Tied 4-4, heading into the 7th end. Loving how this game is heating up, Mark.
Oh, don't you just love curling, Andrew?
Listen, I think
I'm on the edge of my seat,
we
literally.
we picked a gem here tonight to televise.
Game of the week. Game of the week.
Tap on the one he just threw. Pretty tough. And that's probably it.
And the words of Carl Strong, I look across the glass here, Mark. If they're 1 deep, they're 20 deep.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
Although I do tell you, you can probably hear the applause in the background, and we do have a pretty full house here tonight for local curling. And you know what? One thing I noticed about Newfoundland is we don't have a pretty healthy curling community, but we got a lot of couch curlers, buddy.
Oh.
A lot of people love the game. Might never have thrown a rock.
If you talk to them, every one of them, as far as they're concerned, has the same experience as Brad Gugel. And it's hilarious to talk about. Everybody thinks they're winning every game,
Oh, yeah.
and they haven't thrown a rock. But
Yeah.
regardless, We got a full house here tonight, and it goes back to when we had the Grand Slam here a couple of weeks ago. Very, very well attended. The crowd is knowledgeable. So many people watch all the curling on TV. When we had the 27 Briar, the place was absolutely electric. When we had a couple of previous slams here out in CBS and whatever out that way, the slam was well attended.
That
Now,
would be absolute worst case scenario.
curling was always watched fairly popular here, but all this all goes back to 2006 and even earlier 2001 when Guju won the World Junior.
Oh, yeah.
And it
Remember it
got
well.
people excited. We had juniors coming to join the club, people trying to join the curling club, and not just here, all around Newfoundland and Labrador. And then, after they won gold in Torino, there's so many people are aware of curling. Even if they've never thrown a rock, a lot of people do have a pretty good understanding of what's going on, good, bad, and indifferent.
Yeah.
And they all know who the top teams are. They all got their favorites. Now, when they're playing Guju, well, guess what, folks? Newfoundland people are homers, and we're all rooting for Guju all the time. Nothing changes.
No, I got to say, Mark.
Outside of that, they know who Carrie Anderson is. They know who Holman is. They know who all these top ladies teams are. They know who all the top men's teams are. And it's fabulous.
Yeah.
You see some slams on TV, and depending where it is, it's not like all of them, but some of them are poorly attended. And they don't have the crowd or the excitement. You talk to the teams that were here just a couple of weeks ago, and win or lose, they all love playing in front of a packed house.
Yeah. Now, you did mention about Torino, and I got to say, I've got a lot of memories in this curling club. But to me, that was probably the highlight and the most fond memory I had. Like, here we were at work. They designated it to be a day off. And most people would probably go on and do whatever came down to the club. And down here with a lot of like-minded folks, that place was absolutely blocked. We had a big screen TV, and we had a lot of those that were, true to the game, and a great memory. And to watch that, what was it, U24 that he was playing? The fellow with U, consonant.
From Finland. But at the time, when he played the gold medal game, we had a slam going on here at Mile 1 at the time, in 2006. We were playing his brother, Grant Howard, in a quarterfinal game, and they were showing the gold medal game on the Jumbotron. There was a blazing blizzard outside. There were more people on the ice than there were in the stands, and myself and Glenn, we should have been watching the game we were playing because the winner went to the semifinals. We're both watching the gold medal game on the Jumbotron. Glenn is totally into it because his brother's playing for the gold. I'm into it too because I'm rooting for Guju also. And it was crazy.
Were you playing? Were you playing, Russ?
I was playing Glenn.
Playing Glenn. I hope you beat him.
No. but at the time, Glenn or neither one of us were really into it. We were watching the Jumbotron. No, I don't know if we saw the team throw a rock, and we're on the ice.
I'm sure that was a good moment there to be next to Russ's brother.
Well, I remember the game wasn't over here, and they had won the gold, and Glenn and I are jumping up and down on the sheet in Mile 1 with like 10 people in the stands.
It's awesome.
And a raging blizzard outside. It was too funny.
All right, let's get back to the game, right?
Anyway, here we go.
So, again, now we got a good setup here for Team Perry. I don't know if that rock glanced off or just didn't curl. I think that side of the sheet, again, is the straight side. And so now we've got an attempt at a hit and roll with Perry already sitting one back of the house. He makes his hit and roll to be T-line behind lots of cover. It certainly sets up the complexion of the game well for Perry.
Here is the force, threat, and the one. You keep the hammer. Hammer is all important coming home.
So heavy sweep here by Nick to try and make that curl.
And they got a nice roll. Beauty. Now, people out in viewer's land, why do teams want the hammer coming home? Well, I'll tell you why. Winners want it in their control. If you got the hammer, you got control of how the game's going to end. It don't matter what the situation is. You make the last one, you're probably going to win the game. Winners want the hammer.
Now,
That's pretty
hopefully,
much what it comes down to.
hopefully, you got the hammer, and you're up 2,
Well,
and you're not with the hammer down 7.
well, if down 7, you wouldn't be playing the last game. So, top teams want the hammer because it gives them control in the last game. Winners want the hammer.
So that shot there again, I don't think that was what was intended by Team
They were hoping to
Grattan.
get a double peel and roll
Yeah.
off.
So now we've got lots of traffic up front,
Well, Perry's coming around again here now. He can
sure.
can really squeeze Grattan hard here.
and he doesn't need to come in deep into the house. So I like even just a top 8.
Top 8, fine, but I like coming in a little deeper to the 4th.
Spin its way back to the top of the button somewhere.
Grattan's still got to go out and try to open up the front.
I think it was
So again, keep in mind now we're on the straight side of the ice.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying though is
They get
if,
around here, and there's enough
Yeah.
curl. You only got to curl a foot, and that guard out front is 7 or 8 feet in front of the tee, top of the 12. So
But
as
it-
long as we're relatively tight to that,
that was always the
and we're starting to get some curl here. Now this is all weight, not a finish. Nick's going to go now in a second, or who's ever sweeping on that side.
things Nick throwing, yeah. That's young Carter Holden. Young Carter Holden, yeah. So
Grattan's got to go out and do something with the front. He
Yeah.
can't. He knows he got an issue.
the shot that's not available to Grattan right now is a soft come around takeout because they're not getting enough curl. So
right
he's
here-
left with nothing but runbacks.
Well, right here, it looks like there's going to be no blank, but it can change in one shot because of how they're lined up. But they need a big shot here out of Kratzy. Or is it Dop? Oh,
Oh, he clipped
not
one
what
of
they
them.
wanted.
But
Oh, that was Dobson. Paul
Yeah.
Dobson playing. So again, now we're going to put another guard out there. Oh, he's going to come in
I mean,
again.
yeah. So one of the things about this particular shot now is the fact that if Simon gets that shot put up there top 8 and Grattan then comes around and clips that back one that's in the button, now all of a sudden the scoring area is
Larger. I don't
it's
like
much
coming in
larger.
here.
I agree.
I'd rather
I'd rather guard, yeah.
You play the guard. Again, the scoring area is only a foot. You come around, and even if Grattan hits one on the pin and rolls away, when he goes to drop one on his last rock on the out turn, because there's nothing available on the in turn, the scoring area for him is larger.
And what's key here as well for Team Tipple Team Perry, is to be sitting. He wants to be sitting 2 for most of this
You
end.
don't need to bring this in any further.
No.
Now, the thing about bringing it that far, if that was 2 feet up front, Grattan might take a crack at trying to open up 3 or 4 rocks with one peel weight by Joel Kratz. Now, that option is not there because that rock came a foot past that other blue rock.
Yeah.
Now, they did call it in, but this is not a bad spot where it stopped.
Pro side miss.
Especially since you really do need to score at least 1 or 2.
So I think that rock is probably half showing
They're playing
Mark.
the come around, but they're not, because of the straightness of the ace, I don't think they're playing to come in and push it and roll open. Because if you push it, you roll a foot. Perry hits the roll back underneath, and
They're in
Grattan's
top
screwed to the wall
10.
here.
They're in top 10, yeah.
So he's trying to come in now to the top of the 4 foot. Perry's going to play a guard, and then Grattan's going to look at a double run through, double bump or whatever, try to light one. So we used to call this when we were young, and this right now is all about tactics.
You could probably play
And how do you get the other team to do what you need to give you the shot you want that follows that?
That's right, yeah.
So, and
Big sweep here by Grattan's crew.
you need to get a buy.
you could have said.
Well, they're going to tick it, but
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now it's
Now, Team Perry, they can navigate that port.
I forget your hit and roll.
you can play
I draw through a hole.
Oh, yeah.
And when you draw through a hole, but you make sure
no, it's
that you don't hit the blue guard. If you're going to graze something, graze
Raise
the
the yellow. Yeah.
potentially
Or you can just play a straight guard. Plug the hole.
I don't mind it.
What do you mean?
I
play
don't
the
mind
card?
it.
What,
He'll-
what's Gretton gonna do?
He'll take a pot shot at his own yellow. If you can ever cover a little bit of that yellow and take the hole away, that would be the ideal shot. I just don't know if it's there.
Right now, there's a lot of danger here for Team Gretton. And it's based on what Perry does and what Perry makes.
So I think Perry wants just an off nose. We're going to say low. I expect he's throwing an out turn on this one.
Well, as much as I talk about how my impression of how good Nick Codner is, I still have an extremely high opinion of Simon Perry also. A fabulous thrower, good head on his shoulders, great future in curling ahead of him. And, I wonder, from Glenn Goss's point of view, who's our coach, he must look at these guys and say, God, I wish it was as good as these guys when I was their age.
Yeah, and I see Simon. Simon is a bit of a silent leader. Like he's not outspoken. He's not loud on the ice. And you know what? I've seen him throw a lot of really nice
The
stones.
last team that we were at this level, at this stage, or better, would have been back when Gouju and Mark Nichols were coming through.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And so these guys, as long as they stay with it,
So if he nuts us right on the nose, which I think, yeah. So now there is a port.
well,
It's
that-
tight, but there's a
That's
port.
a good shot, but that's the reason I wouldn't have played the hit.
Yeah.
If you ever hang it out and you jam it on your own, the end goes sideways.
Yeah.
So why would you take any chance of playing it? Why not just play the draw?
So Mark,
So I got to make it a 7-foot angle raise.
yeah.
Fine, yeah, sometimes you got to leave people those types of shots. They're not going to make them all the time.
If you're going to sail one through here, Mark, try to navigate that port. If you actually hit the one that's a little bit higher
You could
and
go tick,
ricochet,
tick.
exactly,
And still get into the ring for
Right.
even if you're in for second shot.
right.
Because what happens if you're in for second shot, Perry has the guard. So what happens then, Breton plays an in-off on the outside or tries to raise his top one. If he makes it for two, fine, he's up two. If he gives up one, he's down one with the hammer.
Now, question: Is this James's last stone? Does he have one left? I can't remember.
This is Perry's, yes, this is James's. No,
Because this is, if he touches either one of those blues
I
and
think
don't
this
make
is-
it in,
I think this is Breton's first one.
help us out, viewers. Send me a text.
We're so engrossed in the strategy we don't even know how many rocks left.
know what.
And from our vantage point, we just can't pop up and look out.
I was gonna say, what corner is bowling?
All right, welcome back. 5-3 for all.
I believe that is Grattan's first of two.
I think that's what it is. This is going to be close.
And Nolan opting to draw to the wings.
Got to curl a bit. No, he's not through the
Now
hole.
look at
Look at this.
Realistically, you're throwing both
Just
three and
touch
But
it.
they're going to roll it in for second shot.
one of them to start.
So now,
Coming in.
And you're, well, that's accessible on the curly side.
Perry can hit that, knows it, and force Grattan to one and have the hammer coming home. Or he play the guard, and in all likelihood, better than even chance he's going to steal one and be up one without.
What-
Now it comes down to what do you want to do?
Preference. So what is your preference?
I'd rather be down one with the hammer.
Down one with, yeah.
Most deuces with the hammer are scored in the first end and the last end because everything is on the line.
Yeah.
First end, teams are still trying to figure out the ice somewhat.
Yeah.
Even after they have a practice on it, it's still the first end. Last end, teams are trying to win the game. The game is on the line, and so you're pushing for the two.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to the extra end without the hammer.
Yeah.
So teams are going all in and trying to get the right angle.
That's
So this comes down to what they want to do. Now, Nick just said, let's pick it out. Let him take his one. We got the hammer coming
Yeah.
home. He came down and said, that's what he just indicated.
Yeah.
So this is,
Buy the house in the first one, and then you go the opposite side.
this decision, I think, would come down to what they would have discussed with their coach
Yeah.
in a situation like this. Do you want to be one up without or one down with?
And I, personally, I'm with you. I prefer to be down one with hammer. So
Now,
when
the
it,
only danger here is if you pick it out which is the easiest shot, and Grattan plays to hit this and makes the double
For the blank.
for the blank. That's why, if you're going to play this, you could play the hit and roll into the back of the four.
There's enough curl here for that.
So now Grattan has to play a tap and stay in there for one.
Right.
If the guard comes into play or he rolls off, you're lying 3.
I love
And
I love
I don't
that-
say that's going to happen, but if you're the shooter, you have to be aware of that. You have to have an awareness of what else is in the rings and what can go wrong.
I really do love the come around. Like if you really want to get aggressive here and force the play to Grattan, you come around there with a softer weight hit. You get a little bit of a roll to the 4-foot, and now Grattan, take a shot at it. If you roll too far or roll out, you're giving up a deuce potentially. Now I think if playing a soft weight hit, you might come in contact with that back
Now,
blue, but
again, there is a steal of 2. The best way to steal 2 here, put yourself in a good position. Play the out turn, come around. If you get in to top of the 4-foot and you show half
the rock, yeah.
Now, what you going to do? If he goes after it and hits the one you just threw, he could jam it. He only got to roll 3 feet. You're shooting 3.
Yeah.
2 for sure.
Yeah.
So
And Laura throw pretty hard.
now with this, I don't know
wrist
if he's trying
tolerance.
to pick it or if he's trying to hit and roll into the back of the 4-foot.
He's not taking a lot of ice, and this is the the curl side of the ice.
seemed to be-
Right off the bat,
seemed to be
they're
pretty
curling to
tight.
keep it straight.
Seemed to be pretty tight.
I think he's
by the
by.
guard.
Yes, sir.
Really is opting out.
Oh,
Oh,
that's not what he
Ah.
wanted to do.
now I question.
Now, Grattan. Now, is that a biter up top?
Right now, Steele's
It might
Boy,
be.
I'd be putting a stick on it.
It looked from here, our vantage point. I would say that is in. I'm just noticing it now.
Now,
In which case,
if my technical
does he
advisor,
does he peel one out and just give Perry one?
give a quick game update.
if the technical mastermind is out there, Trevor Bartlett, this is where the overhead camera would really come in handy.
It would, but I'm thinking from our angle, you can see very little white.
True.
And with the concavity of the curling rocks, I'm saying is in. They're talking about this.
Yeah.
We hit the open one, give them one, or do you want to be one up and out? Other than that, if this was a simple decision, if that top one wasn't in, they would have the broom down now and they've gone down to throw it.
As predictable, peel guard.
There are 60 seconds talking about this. This is what they're talking about, gentlemen and ladies out in viewerland.
Yeah.
Do we want to, what do we want?
What do
to
we want?
have?
Yeah.
Do we want the hammer coming home? The thing about playing it quiet, if it ever started to come, I know the ice is straight, but if it ever picked or over curled or did not curl enough, and you got weight that your rock can go through the rings, 2 comes into play.
With that one plus.
Now, I like this call. This is what I like. They're going to play on the top one, and if you hit it thin enough, can you make the double and get the blank?
Just touching the
What do you think of that call, Andrew?
I'm just actually trying to scope out. We got a final on the ice here. I'm just trying to figure out who won. What's that? All right, so we got Nathan Young is moving on, and Team Shoe has been eliminated from the 2024 Rick Rowsell Classic. So that puts Nathan Young in good position now. He'll be taking on I'm not sure what pool he's in, if he's taking on Greg Smith or Andrew Simmons. Either which way, it's going to make for a great semifinal tomorrow.
I like this shot. Full weight peel on the boiler up top,
No, it's perfect.
trying to
spin
make
it.
a double.
Yes.
If you make the double, you got the hammer coming home in a tie
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
If you don't make it, you're going down with the hammer.
Yeah.
Either way, you retain the hammer.
Yeah.
So this is the call I prefer over trying to tap it back for one. I like to have the hammer.
I love seeing this because I don't know that many teams would even pick up on this as an option.
They're trying to hold the line.
Yeah.
No.
So didn't make it.
Well, I was gonna say almost.
Okay.
Try things,
So
but,
Team Perry steals 1 and 7,
so.
and we'll have a 1-point lead playing the 8 without the hammer. Hammer reverts back to or stays with Team James Jimmy the Kid Grattan. So, folks, on a cold Saturday night in St. John's, Newfoundland. We have a hot quarterfinal game going on here right now.
And I will add, I think it's a full moon tonight, Mark. Ow! All right, quick 30-second break, folks. Maybe a minute. We'll be right
All I
back
can
with
say
you.
to that, Andrew, is I used to be a werewolf, but I'm not one now. Anyway,
Oh, that's
take a little
brutal.
station
That's
break.
brutal.
It probably is definitely getting a little warm.
And we're back, folks. Welcome to the final end of the Team Grattan versus Team Perry men's semifinal here at the Remax Center. It's been a thriller tonight. And speaking of thriller, I just got a little bit of a text. A GIF, we'll say, which is a wolf barking at a moon. Very synonymous of Mark Noseworthy. I believe he's got out in the parking lot, and I'm not sure. Seems to be growing a bit of a whisker. I should be afraid, and I am. Anyway, here we are. We're at the final end here, the eighth end. and it's been a real pleasure calling this game. And right now, Team Perry is giving it their all to try and hold this lead and hopefully outschool the great James Grattan and crew and
Down two.
move forward in the Rick Rowsell Classic. So just to give you a little bit of insight as to what's at stake here. So the winner of this game naturally advances. The loser out. The loser does get paid. They get basically the registration back, $1,000, and the winner who moves on, the money increases substantially. I think it's close to $3,000 for the winner of this one, but can get up to about $5,000 if in fact they win the whole thing. So there's no chump change here, folks. They are playing for real dollars. And this one thing that we hope to do for teams when they come to the Rick Rowsell Classic is to make it worthwhile, and make it worthwhile if you go deep into the playoffs. So we're excited to see the outcome of this game, and we're very excited to see the outcome of tomorrow's semi and final. It's bound to be a thriller for sure. So great job there, great throw by Team Grattan. You can see that they're bouncing and moving a lot of those stones to the back of the house. Very much to Team Grattan's advantage. And the more they can get there at the back tee line will make the final draw. And if it has to be for the tying draw for Team Grattan, naturally he's going hard for the deuce. But at the very least, he does want an out to at least secure an extra end.
Assuming you throw it in now, obviously, neither team lost.
So we got Team Perry coming in here now, trying to set up a couple of angles. Again, we're on the curly side of the ice.
No.
And this looks like it's going to squeak by the yellow stone. Oh, little tiny glance. But we got a corner freeze on that particular stone. So it's good. Grattan's got to deal with it. So now it's the debate of how to approach it.
Yeah. Nose or close should only give him seal one.
So we've got team consultation going on. Pivotal call here in this end. Depending on it's all about leave. You know, if you don't approach this right and you set up the wrong angles, we're starting to cloud up the 4 foot or crowd the 4 foot. And the last thing Grattan wants is to have a lot of traffic to prevent his final shot. That's got to be in his mind the whole time that he's playing this particular end. Well, Mark's back from the parking lot. He still looks the same, so I guess the werewolf hasn't come out in him yet. But yeah, we're back. Simulcast here. Self and Mark enjoying this game.
Well, lots of things can happen now. Where the angles are here now. The way the things are looking here now, I think the angles favor Grattan. You're asking me.
Now, I did say, Mark, about crowding the 4 foot. Like, Mark's got to be, James got to be thinking about not crowding the 4 foot up too much. He got to think about, got to have a path to the 4 foot in the end.
And that's not what they wanted.
But
again,
keeps it
still
simple.
not bad.
Keeps it simple.
Perry has a. I think he has to hit this. I don't think he can afford to play around. And if you hit it sweet, right on the nose, you get rid of both yellows. So,
boy, that would be one hell of a shot. But you got to get rid of it. That's the key piece. But if you'd love to be able to sit there You'd love to be able to sit there. Top four, even if he gets rid of the back yellow or not, that would be a bonus. But you do want to be controlling that top of the house.
Well, you're right, Andrew, but again, you got an opportunity here, and they only come along so often in an end. If they can nut that right on the beak, you get rid of both yellows, and you're line 3, and you've got one side of the forward covered off that Gretton really can't get in there. And on the other side, there's a longer corner guard, which is right on the edge of impeding the draw shot for a tie. So, you got to take your chances when they present themselves.
So we got a big sweep here now to keep this rock straight.
This is going to
Trying
be
to hold
close. It could be.
And, just
Should let
off.
it go a little bit.
You know what? You'd never wanted to touch the back blue, so I think that was probably in Simon's mind.
Still in good shape because the
Great
angles
shape.
are still working for him here.
Anytime you got a how many briars do you say we've been at? Grattan's been at
16, I think.
16 briars. So here's young Team Perry. Got James Grattan,
Jimmy the Kid.
pulling out all the stops here. He's using full-on brain power here now, trying to figure out how we can win this game.
Team Gretton would know that Team Perry are the under-18 national champs. They know that before this game starts.
Respect is coming in.
So they know that they can't go out and not play well. Because the top junior teams in our country are all pretty freaking good.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Even when they're playing against the top men's teams, you still got to go out and bring your A game to beat these teams.
Absolutely.
And teams like this here, we have a couple of junior teams that play at a pretty high level. But Peary are right now, because of the National Junior Under-18 Junior Championship, are the highest profile one, and they play well. Like, you can't take it for granted that you're going to go out and just beat these guys because you're older or you think you got more experience. These guys might not have their experience, but they're completely fearless, and they can just make a lot of rocks.
I can tell you, anytime I stepped on the ice, and at any moment took my
This is
opposition
a big
for
shot
granted.
here, trying to just skinny this to make that double. It's going to be close.
Oh, what
Oh,
a
but he
shot.
killed his own.
But it was still a great shot. Again, when you set up your final shot, Grattan is thinking, all right, I need to get a point, at the very least.
Still a good shot. Too bad he killed his own. Just if a curl a hair more. What this does now, this brings that corner guard into play. Or the two corner guards into play.
That one's a little high.
I don't think he can draw around the corner and be shot.
No.
But even if he guards this, it's possible Grattan might come around it anyway.
Yeah, it's about as automatic as it
And
gets.
see what Perry does. Perry can't afford to come along and chip off it. Can't be short. You got to be somewhere in front of it on an angle. So what happens with that shot is Grattan has expanded his scoring area from 2 or 3 feet to potentially 8 feet.
So, Mark, this is
Makes
the
it a lot
last.
easier.
This is the last of mate stones now for Team Perry. So we've got one mate stone coming from Team Grattan. So Dobson got one final shot to throw, and then we're on to skip stones. Do or die.
Still usable for.
I think he comes around the corner guard.
No.
Or
run
comes
back.
Or comes around the middle.
Would he ever try and run this back and double him off?
No, he wants to get this rock in the rings.
You want to probably put this just to the left, just to the right side.
Now, I don't know which side here do you think curls the most? In-turn or out-turn?
I believe it's going across center now. So you're going to throw the in-turn. Yeah.
Okay, so that's on the right-hand side of the screen here. So you don't have to make it perfect. As long as even if you're in the back of the 4-foot, you're making Perry make a good shot to stop you from winning the game. And if he hits and rolls wide or whatever, he's a draw for your one anyway. You could come around the corner, albeit you'll only be second shot. But if you're Perry, Perry's going to have to make, get close down. The thing about it, if that guard was further out, I think you'd play around the corner because you could still come around the center guard and get the rock in the 8 foot. I think right now,
No, but how do you?
oh,
how do you feel
this is Cratchy's last rock. That's Grattan in the head, isn't it?
12 foot.
Okay, now
Dobson's thrown mate, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, there's 3 stones left.
Okay, so in that case, I would play this shot to open up the whole center. The thing about it, they got to get 2 of these off. Then they really bring the corner guards back into play.
Joel did deliver that stone.
Even with that picking, it's still a really tricky field scenario here.
Oh my God, what a
Oh,
shot.
God.
Holy Lord Lifton.
Now-
That was something else.
Now, if you're Perry, you come into the other side to 4 foot, or do you come around the corner? I think if I was Perry,
Go open.
you're not set up for a steal to win the game. So the goal now, regardless of what you thought at the beginning of the end,
I think if you can hit it,
let's force Grattan.
Yeah,
Take
take
his one.
thick and just
So you got to be shot rock here. If you're not shot rock, or
What do you got to be in?
you got to be shot, but you got to be close enough that Grattan can't come around the corner here and be shot.
Yes.
So you got to be on the edge of the 4.
In other words, come frozen to the back blue. Your stone on the opposite side of the house got to be better than a frozen stone to that blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he's on the tee line and he's just biting the 4 foot, would be ideal. Grattan can't come around the corner guard and be shot.
Gotcha.
Now, if I was
Gotcha.
Grattan, if Perry puts this on the
now,
tee line, edge of the 4, if I was Grattan, you got 2 options. Freeze what Perry threw or come around the corner. If Perry doesn't get in for a second shot, or if he bounces off or whatever,
draw around.
you got to hit for 2.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to
And if he does get into the line 1-2, well, you just draw the 4 foot for 1.
Yeah. So anywhere around that balloon mark, the Remax balloon, I think we're.
I don't think you want to get too far out.
Well, you don't want to set up the double, right?
Edge of the 4 foot.
Yeah.
Where he is right now, coming to the center, coming to the hog line, he's going to be on the. He's going to cross the line here and be full 4 foot.
Remember the last time third serve the draw?
You don't want to be deep.
It's been a while.
That's a nicely played stone.
I think he can get well. I think we're coming around the corner guard all day here now. You can get around the corner and be buried and be shot rock. So they needed that a bit deeper.
This will be
Now it does set up if he comes after this, and then
and uh,
Simon follows him down.
Well, you got to make it, and then if
Yeah.
Simon makes it, well, you take your one and you
Exactly.
carry on.
Exactly. So the other option Grattan's got is if he comes around that stone that Simon just played, go back of the house and be shot rock.
That's an option. What?
He's elected to take the corner guard.
Well, by going around the corner, even if Simon makes his, you still got a lot of room to make your one. So at worst case, you need your one. If you come around the middle and you're just like, even if you're on the tee line
back right up.
and Perry comes around and freezes you,
I think you want this a little tighter to make the feel.
your only option is to draw the and push it back, and he's on the pin. You got to draw the edge of the
That's
pin to
true.
get one.
That's true.
By coming around the corner,
Yeah.
you've still expanded the scoring
Yeah.
area to score your 1 point.
Good point. Good. That's a great
So-
point. Yeah.
Grattan would know this. Worst case, you got to score 1. You got to get it to an extra end. Worst case. So you come around here, you put it back in Perry's court to make him make his shot.
Make
But
him
now,
make a shot.
This has to be shot rock. And they
Oh,
got
we got a heavy sweep. Got a heavy
to
sweep
bury it as
coming.
much as they can. I think he's by the guard.
It's a heavy sweep.
You got to get it in though.
Got to be shot,
Got to
Rob.
be shot rock. It's going to be close.
This is looking light to me, folks.
It looks like.
Yeah, you don't even need to worry.
Whoa. What a turn of events.
Oh man. Might be second shot though, which still keeps the 2 in play.
Then now you got decisions on
Perry is talking about hitting this, so it's got to be partially
Well-
exposed.
I don't know if I like that. There's no way he can see all of that. At most, he can got half. If we're ever tight and you touch the guard, there's going to be a straight hit for 2.
which the draw path might be.
You got to assume it's second shot, or Perry wouldn't
How
think
about-
about it.
How about a
Draw path is you don't cross the
we'll call a back 8 draw mark and just move that stone off so then Perry sits 3.
That's what team.
Well, I got no problem just drawing behind the yellow one. Take loads of ice. You don't have to be tight to it. And just draw the light too.
Yeah. So this is
I think he's probably trying to pick this one out.
Gretton's, well, if you draw to the back of the 8th foot and the same side as that yellow shot that Gretton just threw, and I mean, you're the 8th end. These guys got to have draw weight by now, you would think. Gretton's not taking, even if he tries to play a slash double, his shooter's rolling out. So he's only going to draw for one anyway. This rock here brings that corner guard into play, which you don't need to do. Gretton's still going to have the same draw, one, and you would have played, in all likelihood, an easier shot. Is this by the guard? Oh, just by. Okay, same shot. That was a good shot by Perry, but you brought the guard into play.
Yeah. But it was a great sweep.
Oh,
So we're going to play in the top one.
I'm surprised.
I'm thinking-
I'm surprised we're playing a takeout.
Well, you know what? What it does, though, Mark, it eliminates the chance of missing it, and then losing the game altogether.
That's not the way you look at these draws.
I know,
though, Andrew.
understood.
I'm surprised he's playing a hit here.
Although he might not be. He might be coming down the same path he just threw.
Well, he might be, but I
Yeah.
think he'd have more ice than this. And he indicated he was playing the hit.
Oh, fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
that sort of sealed the deal for
Fair
him.
enough.
The thing about it is, even if she picks this out, you'll have
You can
this
put it
game
back.
out again. I think she buried it enough. That's
You probably only see about. I think you can only.
This got to curl a bit.
About a third, I think.
This got to curl a bit.
yeah, it'll be tough.
Oh, this could be a sweep out.
This is why you
What
need,
an upset.
This is why you needed the draw.
Wow.
Oh, man. Team
Who
Perry
goes?
defeats Team James Gretton. Steele won in the 8th end for a 6-4 victory after Gretton was up 4-1.
What a battle.
You never know. What a feature game we had tonight, Andrew.
It was a pleasure.
It absolutely indeed.
I truly hope that tomorrow's games are as exciting as this one. This
Well,
was fantastic.
Are we doing the final tomorrow? Who's down with the final?
Well, we might have to just boot them off.
Well, I know I'm on the list.
We can play the seniority card.
Okay, that's what we'll do. And you're running the event, so we're playing the seniority card.
Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. What a thriller by Team Perry and Team Grattan, and a big congrats to Team Perry.
Absolutely.
A big notch in the belt for
Big
those young
fire.
boys. Yeah.
Goes to show you how good the junior team can be. And right here in Newfoundland, folks, the best under-18 team in the country belongs to the Remax Curling Center.
So curling is alive and well in Newfoundland.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
The tighter it is, the easier it is to make doubles.